Hey, good evening. It's Maria back with another video. It is 9:45 p.m. September 13th. It is Monday evening and I am tired, but not tired enough to actually go to bed to where my mind is tired and my body's tired at the same time to where I'm going to relax and get some sleep. So I decided I'm going to come on here and make a video. And it's a very easy video. I'm only using one. It's not even really a slide. I'm just putting a picture up here and just running my mouth. No special effects, no attempt to make any special effects, just 100% talking. So, I like to pop in on this little YouTube channel every once in a while and just kind of get what's going on in my head out. So every once in a while, I think about this issue like every day, but it seems to be tapering off because I'm keeping myself pretty busy. But today I was thinking about how angry, I am for several reasons. Because, I realize how old I am and the time that I lost in my life. Basically being abused in ways where I had no control over my life. And I think this is one of the issues. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the whole Britney Spears issue because I don't really keep up with anything. But there's certain things in the news or certain people in the media that you can't help but know about because even when you go check your email or something, their faces are being splashed in your face 24 hours a day, so you cannot avoid it. But I do know that she had some sort of issues with her father, I think, taking excess control over her or whatever. But of course, he had some sort of legal means to do so, but he was using it to the extreme. Okay, so her situation's a little bit different than mine. Mine is an outright criminal. I mean, it's fucking just goddamn criminal, and I'm shocked as hell about it. And when you start thinking about the time that has passed, and gone on in your life, and you start looking at back on everything that you did in life and all the things that went wrong, and believe me, I am never ever going to try to take the responsibility out of my life or try to erase my mistakes that I've made as a person and try to like act like, well, I didn't deserve the bad things that have happened. Some things are a form of karma. I will tell you that right now, okay? But some people are born into dysfunctional families that's beyond their control, okay? And I know some people say, well, it's a past life thing and all this other stuff. Whatever, okay? But you know, sometimes you get born into a family where you're just not the favorite, and because you're different, and this is who I am, and it's not like some people think. Well, you should follow tradition. I wasn't raised in any tradition or anything like that. So when my family saw that I was growing up and going into my own path, this is how it's always been. They felt like maybe jealous, competitive, angry. I mean, they never seemed to like really appreciate my interest in things like religion or anything like that when I was younger. So it was kind of like they didn't understand, who I was. So they always bullied me, and then they encouraged other people to bully me. And this is where we have ended up, at this point. Okay. Because they feel like they want to follow you around and they want to influence the people that are around you and all this other stuff. Okay, so I am a lifelong victim of human trafficking. There's actually people, and what do you call it, domestic stalking. There's people online who've talked about moving year after year after year after year. I mean, this has gone on for in some people's lives for over 30 something years. Okay, now I will tell you, I can go back to the 90s of where I would have to leave jobs or I would move from one place to another because of harassing type issues. So it's devastating when you start putting the pieces together. You literally it devastates me and scares me, destroys me inside to know that somebody would want to manipulate my life in the manner that they did. Somebody devalued me as a human being so much that they wanted to control every aspect of my life, right down to what I was eating, what I would wear, how, my hair, what kind of job I did. I mean, this is, and what really got me was who I'm getting married to, or who I'm married to, why I am the way that I am. I mean, to me, as a 50-year-old woman, this is the law, okay? When you are 18 years of age, you are now a legal adult. And when I was growing up, my mother even said, even my father said, okay, when you are 18 years old, you are out of the house. You take responsibility for your life. You live however you want to. Okay, you're an adult now. The law recognizes this fact. And so I was under the impression as I was growing up, okay, this is the way it is. And I will tell you, growing up as a kid, I knew something was not quite right in my home. Like I knew that, my family behaved in a way that I would never behave. And so, there was always like this, this kind of bullying type tension. So anyway, but I kind of overlooked it like that was just, kid stuff or whatever. But as I got older and started looking back, especially when this whole thing with the gang stalking thing, like really came to a hit, I was like, oh my gosh. Um, so I was upset, earlier today because, the flashbacks, the memories, the thoughts start coming back. And I tell you that it does affect your mind. When you deal with long-term domestic stalking, when you deal with uh, somebody excessively controlling your life, okay, it's abuse, I have grown tired of dealing with people who are ignorant, and that's just how I feel about it. I will say that I believe that love is something that is not something that I'm giving away out of obligation. Just because you're my blood relation doesn't mean I'm going to love you. Some people think I don't know what their definition of love. I think that my family are so ignorant and so backwards that they might have some sort of, they either condone certain forms of perversion, because why would you want me to be married to a man who is fucking his mom? Okay, to me, that some people, like I said, if incest is your thing, or you think that you accept that sort of thing, you do that, okay? But when you try to force me into a marriage of something that I don't believe in, and it terrifies me, like when somebody tells me that they were raised in this sort of environment, they normalized this sort of environment, then what started going off in my mind is, I don't know what kind of boundaries this kind of person has. Okay, to me, you're right up there with like a murderer or a child molester or something that I cannot deal with. I cannot deal with this. And the problem with my situation and what happened to me in this community is that, the thing is, when you are a minority, you are going to be a victim of prejudice. People are going to prejudge you. And, being a minority, especially in a predominantly white environment, people always assume that black women are always going to want a white man. And I think that's insulting on so many levels. I do understand that white people do have it better, what I call, they have it better socially. They have it better financially. They have it better in a lot of different ways because of white privilege. I've talked about this. Even people who are, like a lot of actors and other people are starting to talk and recognize, this issue with white privilege. Exists whether we want to talk about it or not, okay? But this whole issue, what happened with me, is another proof of this sort of system being in place, okay? And so, I'm trying to run and get away and feel safe from what I am becoming extremely disturbed by. And then you've got this family who's using religion as a way of trying to keep me in a marriage. And I'm looking at you from a legal standpoint, and I'm looking at you from my emotional standpoint, and I'm thinking, okay, these perverts are trying to force their lifestyle on me using religion. Are you in a cult? What is wrong with you? And the aggressive manner of keeping me out of work, bullying me to that sort of point of to where you're closing doors to me and basically sending a message, go kill yourself. Okay, these are major violations in employment law. Of course, the laws when it talks to about gang stalking, human trafficking. To me, this literally like disturbed me. This is the reason why I'm walking around in this funk a lot of times, because I have literally developed a lot of trauma because of this, okay? And unfortunately, when you're dealing with gang stalking, it is a very invasive program. I mean, it invades every aspect of your life. That means that it destroys work relationships, it destroys personal relationships, it destroys relationships that haven't even started yet, because you are being swirled around with rumors, gossip, and there is basically a hate campaign involved in it, because this weird chick over at the Murray Family Farms place jumped on this bandwagon, and I don't know, that's a whole different story. Maybe it is, it's a part of it, I think, whatever. Okay, but what we've all witnessed is I was basically a victim of a community harassment, organized community harassment program. And to think that anybody would ever expect to say, oh, I'm sorry, and try to make it up to a person who has dealt with this is absolutely crazy. I am disturbed by everything that happened to me. Now, when it comes to the people who insist that I would want to be back together with my ex-husband, I find that very disturbing and very alarming, and I have explained already why. Okay, I don't agree with his lifestyle. And, the more I think about the issue of him getting together with this other girl, too, and then she had some sort of vendetta against me, probably because she cheated on, my ex-husband cheated on me with her, right? And I don't know. The whole thing is very strange, okay? Whatever the case is, there was no friendliness. This was not an accident. This was a poorly executed, mind you, but a hate crime. Period. And see, the thing is that a lot of people try to discredit people such as myself, people who have psychic abilities, people who have who are kind of, I don't like to use the word like, who enjoy things that are earthy. They like their meditation, they like their whatever, they're kind of zen-like. Because, people who are ignorant, such as that girl at my ex-job, and then my ex-husband who was raised in a fundamentalist Christian home, he's looking at me thinking, well, she may not have it all together. She might be a little woohoo, so I can do all these things, and I can manipulate her, and I can abuse her. No, you cannot. Okay? I'm not going, these people have underestimated me as a human being. Okay? Not only did they underestimate it, they tried to dehumanize me, taking over my work. This girl acting as though she was some sort of representative for the company that I used to work for. She had no legal right to be involved in it. And you have this racist community, at least it was at one time, or whatever, I don't know, I'm not going to say anything too much about it, but who jumped on the bandwagon and supported this form of white supremacy, you see. And so then you have my ex-family who wanted me to stay in a marriage, or was either like collaborating with my ex-husband and his weird mom, who sometimes I suspect now of being possibly a man, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, the whole thing is very strange to me. And so I am in a state of shock. You know what I mean? And every day I get up and I do what I need to do, and I'm learning how to function again. It was a seriously traumatic experience for me. So no, I have no interest in trying to be friends with you. I have never attempted to call anyone that I used to know who was a part of this in a long, long time. Okay. And even before I realized exactly who was involved in this, I stopped communicating because I was trying to figure out what was going on with me. I mean, I was trying to drill it down. I was in deep thought, deep contemplation as to exactly how am I in this situation. And then when I started figuring out, I was like, okay, I would not pick up the phone. I would not, I wouldn't piss on them to basically put their fire out if they were burning. Okay. And that's how I feel about it. Okay. Because what happened to me is just absolutely shocking. Okay. And, I think I made the comparison of this one time before. You know how, like, back in the 70s, there were these, like, movies where like these people were like regular humans, right? And then somebody gets in an argument with them or whatever, and then yanks their face off, and they see all this like computerized paneling and like wiring and whatever, because these people aren't even human. That's exactly how I feel about my blown blood relations. I'm terrified. Like my eyes are open to certain things that I have long swept under the carpet, ignored, or just discarded, and now as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I mean? So I'm dealing with the trauma of that, and I get so angry in this foolish group of people who seem to think that my depression and sadness has something to do with my ex-husband. To me, that's another form of white supremacy, and I'll tell you why. Because what you would think that it's insulting for somebody to think that they can be that abused, and just because this person's white, that I'm going to bend over backwards and want to be with this person. I have standards just like anybody else, okay? And I know when I was younger, I remember working at a company where I was like 24 years old, and like the guy I was working for was 75. So you can already imagine this dude was old and crusty, not one bit attractive. He looked like throw up. He smelled like urine. He probably like pissed in his Depends diapers all the time. But he swore up and down that I would do anything I possibly could to get into his hot tub. Okay, and the arrogance that some white men show towards women of color is absolutely shocking. Okay, yes, if a white woman thinks you're disgusting, chances are a black woman thinks you're disgusting too. Okay, I have standards, and I think especially when you get to my age, really, I mean, most people really aren't that good looking. Okay, now you'll see every once in a while there's some white actors, for example, that are extremely good looking at their age. They're one of those, like, what do you call it, cream of the crop. That's why they're actors and they're doing what they're doing, okay? Because they're different. They have charismatic. They have the sort of animal magnetism that women like or whatever, and so they're going to be stars, celebrities. They got the star, that star flair or power or whatever. So they're there, right? But everyday average people that I see in my age group, I'm not like, and some people are like, well, you need to go out and start dating. I'm thinking, okay, men, no, okay, it's not important to me. It just isn't. And I get angry because I got brought into an issue that I should have never had to defend myself for in the first place. That's one of the reasons why I made these videos, is because I, as a person who is extremely intuitive, I needed to get down and figure out what is it that these people are angry about? Why is this going on with me? And so I would have like messages that come through my mind, or things flashing, memories of things that happened, and I was like, I put all this together. I have every right to be every goddamn way that I am. Okay? And if I did have a relationship, which I'm not looking for one, obviously not, I would not want them to have any sort of connection to the people that I used to know. Because the thing is, when you're dealing with narcissistic behavior, their apologies are often serve as just a gateway to get right back in. Okay? And I will tell you, if a person feels that sort of what I'm going to call extreme or morbid jealousy towards another person, such as these people have clearly demonstrated for a very long period of time. Okay, it took me thousands of videos and like about 5 years of trying to get my point across. I have brought up religious, like the religious aspect of it. Like I asked him, like, can you show me biblical proof that you're treating me like shit and you can justify it? No, I proved that through scripture, since they thought they can use religion against me. Okay, I said you can't do that. Okay, so I brought up the laws of this country. They are still continually doing it. These people had a morbid jealousy towards me. If they are sorry, then they are sorry that, number one, they exposed themselves and they can't deny it. You know what I mean? So whatever the case is, I don't ever want to see any of them again. And I don't have any plans to. I am moving on with my life. And it just makes me angry to no end for people to think that I would just shrug my shoulders and be friends with these people. Now, I understand I see things much differently than most people. And I'm glad that I do. Because I recognize this as a form of abuse. Okay, that's the reason why I started talking about this, because it is a form of abuse. Okay, anytime somebody tries to trap you in a marriage, they completely ignore what you need as a person. They're constantly thinking about their own needs, even though this person's already saying with somebody else what he's trying to hang on to me just in case this doesn't work out with her or some weird shit. It's like you use somebody like they're a fucking commodity. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Okay, nobody of these people gave a fuck about me. That's just the reality of it. These people, I have no idea what provoked it. I think it started all on Facebook or whatever. I have the right to be on Facebook if I want to. I have the right to pose if I want to. That little picture to me was actually quite innocent. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was starting to get attention. Then I got my siblings were jealous of me. And that's another thing. I'm tired of women like bashing other women for doing exactly what they want to do themselves. You know what I mean? And hey, for every nice looking woman, there's one that's 10 times more beautiful. That's just the reality of it, okay? So I don't sit here and think of myself as like super, super gorgeous. I know there's a lot of other women who are 10 times more better than me. But I'm trying to get the best out of this life. And I'm trying to enjoy my life to the fullest. And, when I was younger, I used to look at certain styles, like, when I was growing up, and I would think, that's so cool. Like, I love how, in this one scene, this person's wearing this outfit, and then the next scene, they're wearing another outfit that's a little bit different, or she's wearing, accessorizing or whatever. And I really don't have as much clothes as I used to. Okay. I'm rebuilding my wardrobe since I was out of work for so goddamn long. Okay. And I'm not going to go into reasons why. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, I enjoy those things. Okay. But and I always have. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to sew. Okay, it's a part of my enjoyment of my life. And they want to separate you from things that you want to do, and they try to make this contingent upon you. Basically, try to threaten my life. It was this, do this my way, sacrifice your life for me, do this sort of stuff, and so that you can eat and live on a job that makes you fucking million. These people fucking literally human traffic me in broad daylight and for everyone to see. Okay, there's no fucking denying it. And these ignorant fucking people think that I would never forgive anyone for that. Ever. So it's like you yelling and screaming and somebody doing something against your will anyway. And that is shocking. Okay, that's what really gets me. Like, it's disturbing to me. Okay. So yeah, I deal with you know, I do. I feel resentful sometimes that I have to deal with people who are ill-mannered, especially people who are ignorant. I don't like people who don't understand like the law or respect the law. I don't have any, and I'm not saying that I'm like little Miss Goody Two Shoes and I've never made a mistake. I've had traffic violations and stuff like that. Okay, I obviously, but my point is that, when you do something deliberately against another person to change a person's fate, to make a decision for them, to force them to, impose your will on them, to make you reliant on them, and then you sit there and deprive them of basic human needs like a job. You know what I mean? Or are you using this as an excuse so you can dig information about them so you can play a competition game or something? I get angry about it because you're wasting my fucking time. This shit went on for so many years, and like, I could have been doing things that were productive instead of being, in a fetal position worrying, am I going to fucking live? You know what I mean? These people are fucking demonic. And I know I do believe that people are demonic. Okay, some people say, oh, it's narcissism, and yeah, on an earthly basis, or maybe like something that a psychologist would say, or whatever, a term that's the terminology that they would use. On a spiritual level, I'm going to say you're fucking goddamn, demonic. Something that literally comes into your life and then you tell it to leave and it will not leave. It's like, fuck, do I need an exorcism or something? I mean, you're fucking demonic. What's wrong with you? Yeah, I get really disturbed about that. But, so yeah, I mean, I literally purged everyone out of my life. And no, I don't sit here and be like, and think like, oh, I'm so lonely, and I miss these people. If only I could have been more like they wanted me to be. It's not like that. And if they think this is where their narcissism gets like way out of control. Okay, like they think in their mind, she cares about us. She doesn't know it. I know what I'm talking about. what I experienced was just unspeakable. Like I said, this shit should be on the news. It's a scandal, is what it is. Okay, it's a fucking goddamn scandal. And yeah, and I do see it that way. Here in 2021, you have people like holding a woman against her will in the United States of America at the same time bashing the same people who do that over in another country. You know what I mean? Or I'm just, wow. I'm just disgusted. I hate, I hate people. Okay, I fucking hate dealing with ignorant people. And maybe they didn't like me when I was growing up. And I think the people in my high school years who saw me on Facebook, they were angry because, I turned out okay. And maybe they were resentful because they always hated me and they always wanted to keep me down. That's a possibility. You know what I mean? I will say my teenage years were kind of strange. And I didn't realize the crap that was really going on around me. I mean, I knew that my family was dysfunctional. I knew that there were times I really hated being around them. I knew that, okay? But I didn't realize that everything that was going on wrong was directly related to them. Like seriously, because they always invaded my space. Like I remember when I was a kid, like I would have a friend, and then all of a sudden my sister would like constantly want to hang out, and then she's like, "Oh, they're my friend now." It's like, what the hell? Some people are like that. They have this like your friends are become competition to them. If you have friends, then they want your friends. If you're doing something, then they want to do it too, or they want you to stop doing it so that you can make them feel better about themselves. It's that childish behavior that actually escalates into something almost, I can say, murderous. You know what I mean? It's strange, but anyway, I just want to talk some things out, man, because sometimes it just gets really heavy. Like I said, I see myself getting better every day, but at the same time, it's still there because, everything that I'm doing in my life right now is a result of what happened. You know, and I don't like people who try to enforce their shit on me. I don't, and see there because my ex-husband's family was rather had white supremacist views, whether they would want to admit it or not. They look at them just existing that they're the form of authority that I'm supposed to listen to. You're nobody. You don't have any title. You have no public title. You're just a white woman who thinks that you have the right to gain authority over somebody. That seems pretty racist to me. I mean, you did something illegal, okay? And it's like, um, holy cow, man! I accidentally like grazed my keyboard, and then the whole thing shut down. But yeah, I mean, I have no interest in being like anybody but myself. I am interested in exploring my life the way that it is. And I remember growing up as a kid, like I remember just wanting to get, like my parents said, hey, when you're 18, you're out of house, you're on your own, you do what you want to do. They told me I could choose my own religion when I was 17. So yeah, and then you get out of the house, and then all of a sudden your stupid siblings who are extremely jealous and competitive of you, they want to somehow tell you how to live your life. I have no interest in living my life like anyone other than myself. And I'd rather not to have a relationship with people who have the views. I could be friends with people who have different views than me, okay? But when you try to enforce or force me to see things your way, or try to manipulate social situations and have people gang up on me so I can change I will tell you what, I would take a gun and blow my goddamn brains out before I had to be like any of these people. That's not a lie. I mean, you think I don't want to be anything like my family. I don't. Okay, I don't admire your shit at all. And I'm not trying to put you down, but now that you like try to destroy my life, I'm going to tell you why. And I never deliberately took a path that was different from them. It's just I believe that I had this internal thought in my mind, like these are the things I'm interested in, so this is the thing I want to gravitate to. I want these things because I think they're good. I like them. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm not into that. I'm into living my life to the fullest, the best way I possibly can. And I don't want to be around people who condone incest. I don't want to be around people who think it's turn a blind eye to, certain things that are abusive and then try to, especially, I mean, somebody who tries to tell you who to marry. Yeah, I can't even, I'm just shocked by that, I don't want to get married. And I know people that disappoints people because some people they look at me and they think, well, I just, gosh, because they want their traditional, and people like to be around people who have the same values. Trust me, I'm not trying to shake up the social order. I'm not trying to recruit women to tell them to go drop their husbands and do this sort of thing. I'm not trying to do anything like that. This is my life experience. This is what happened to me. This is how I have to protect myself, okay? I'm not that gung-ho about sex. Sex is not my top priority. If it was, I would go out and be like screwing every man I wanted to see, every man I saw, um, and some good-looking ones too, okay? And I probably wouldn't stop at one if that was my choice. I would continue doing it. I don't need to get married to do that. I don't, you know what I mean? And I don't understand where these people are coming up with their idea that they thought their marriages were so sacred when they do things to me that seem like it's completely defilement. But whatever, I'm just trying to live out my life. You know what I mean? And I do. I have more of an interest in spiritual things than I do here on the earth. Like I recognize this every day. It's like, I'd rather like go into like an abandoned building and feel the energies around me than have to deal with the shit that's going on on the earth. I seriously feel that way. You know, especially now since I started realizing how fucking evil people really are. It's like it's hard for me to really think that people are decent. Especially when you dealt with something like this, especially when somebody held you accountable or blamed you and mistreated you for the actions that were clearly created by another person, and there is no denying it. Okay, so when you start experiencing stuff like this and you witness something this cruel, this evil, this fucking, I'm going to come right and say it, wicked, you that's the last straw. So pretty much everything that I do in my life relates to the paranormal. Okay, earthly life to me is just exactly what it is. It's fucking hell. Okay, it's fucking hell. And I really can't see it any other way. So we do things to try to pacify our time here. And that's how I feel. Okay, and I think that's how a lot of people feel on some level. Okay, they maybe have never thought about it in that way, but this is basically what they do. That's why some people take it to extremes. Some people, unfortunately, get into large amounts of debt because they go out and buy luxury cars, or they go out and buy like homes and stuff like that, and all these material items, hoping for happiness. I don't believe for 1 minute that buying a new pair of shoes is going to make me extremely happy. It's not going to change my life in any way, but it's going to help me get through things. Okay. Maybe wearing lipstick is not a necessity for some women. Some women don't like makeup. They don't like it. For me, it's one less thing that makes me feel like this world's shit. You know what I mean? And which it is. It is. And not every woman wears makeup for men. When I was younger, I looked in the mirror and I said, fuck, damn, I love this shit. I love it. Okay? I love it. I love lipstick. I do. I love it. I love eyeshadow. So show me some of those multicolored palettes of eyeshadow. I will go fucking crazy. I love those colors. And maybe some people don't like it. You don't have to like it, but I have the right to wear it. Okay? And I do think that people should wear makeup in good taste or whatever. But this is who I am. You know what I mean? And there's been times where I've put that on even when I'm not even going anywhere. You know why? Because when I pass the mirror, I like saying, you know what? I love this. I love how it blends with my clothes. I love how it coordinates. I am happy as fuck right now in this brief moment of time. But I know when I walk out this door, I'm going to deal with fucking monsters, white supremacists, and everything else under the sun. It's my small little amount of pleasure that I get in this life. And you know what? Those motherfuckers want to take that from me too. I fucking hate these people. Okay, I can't make it any more clear. So I want to clear up any misconceptions by people thinking, oh, she's heartbroken because no, Maria's heartbroken because for years of her life, I literally missed out on things that most people take for granted. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because of these people. And when you start coming to the realization of that, you're like, fuck. You know, it's a mind fuck is what it is. It blows your mind. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's how it is. You know, I don't have an interest in changing my life. This is how I live my life. I like how I see things. You know, I don't want to go to anybody's church. And you know, I'm not bashing people who go to church. I don't need it. You know what I mean? I don't. And I get tired of people just accept me the way that I am. If you don't want to be best friends with me, we don't have to be best friends, but just, you know, let me live and breathe. I've already suffered for like all these other years. Can I just eke by maybe another 10, 15 years before I drop dead? Is that okay with you? Can I get a little time now? Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope all my subscribers who are not perps have a wonderful evening, and I'll be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Good night.